I've spent the last 3 years creating AI images and videos every single day. And what I learned is this: the best AI videos aren't made with complicated prompts, they're made with simple, intentional techniques that give you control and save you money. So today I'll show you 6 skills that turn AI video generation from trial and error into a repeatable workflow you can trust. The first skill is choosing the right AI video approach. There are 2 methods, and each situation demands a different input. When consistency matters, the second method becomes crucial. But first, let's start with the first method, perfect for quick social videos, when for example you'll add your logo and branding later in editing. And I will do this on Higgsfield AI, an all-in-one platform where I have all my favorite AI image and video models under one subscription. And with the Kling 2.6 video model selected, I will use the text-to-video option, and I added my cinematic product promo prompt in here. Now I'm going to select audio because I want to have a voice in it. Then I'm going to set the duration to 10 seconds and then hit generate. And that created this video.
Level up your AI skills in 2026.
Text-to-video is super useful when you need a usable clip fast. But the downside is you have less control, so you often end up doing more runs, therefore spending more money. So if you want full control on your generations, I recommend the second method. And this is image to video. Here you split the job into 2 steps. First, you create the image, and we'll dive deep into how to best create them in the next skill. Then you use this as an input with an image to video prompt like this. And the cool thing is now you only have to focus on the camera move and the action. So I used the camera zooms into the woman's face for the camera move, and for the action I used, and she does not attack. She simply relaxes out of the low training stance and she slowly powers the saber down. Now to be able to use image to video, you just have to upload your image in here, and you can see I've added my prompt in here and I still have the Kling 2.6 model selected. And then this is the final video. And because images are way cheaper than videos, you can tweak them until they look exactly right, without wasting too much credits. And it's also much easier to keep your characters and style consistent with images, which I'll show you later in this video. The second skill is picking the right text-to-image prompt method, because the wrong one will leave you tweaking forever and slows down your workflow. That's why I'm going to show you 2 methods. Each one works best for its own situation. Method 1 is using LLMs like ChatGPT or Gemini. Nano Banana Pro is one of the best AI image models right now. And if you want an LLM to write prompts for it, I recommend Gemini, because Nano Banana Pro is powered by Gemini, so it speaks the same language and knows what the model responds best to. But to be on the safe side, I created the Nano Banana Pro writer log prompt. So I pasted that prompt in here, and then I asked for a Jedi woman, and then I got this prompt. So now I'm going to exactly copy this. And in the image tab with the Nano Banana Pro model selected, I've pasted my prompt in here and I've set the aspect ratio to 16:9 and the resolution to 2K. And that created these 2 amazing images. But here's the catch. LLMs usually spit out long prompts, and tweaking them is slow and annoying. The truth is, shorter prompts give you more control and a faster workflow. Method 2, short prompt structure. Now here's what I mean. Start with just 4 simple components. That way you can instantly see what each word is doing in the image. So for the subject I took a Jedi woman, for the composition I used a full body shot, and for the action I used in a focus stance. She holds an ignited cyan lightsaber with both hands in a 45-degree angle, and for the location I used in a rocky fast desert. And that gives us these 2 amazing images. Now, to make this image more cinematic, you can add some style keywords, like for example, lit by low-angle golden sunlight with long cinematic shadows and dust glowing in the air. And that gives us these 2 images, and in my opinion, they look very cinematic. Now, let's go one step further and create a consistent world from shot to shot. The third skill is character and world consistency, because without it, you're not building a story, you're rolling the dice every shot, and your images will feel random. But when you prompt the details on purpose and repeat them as your base, everything suddenly feels like it belongs in the same world. There are 2 pillars to consistency, and pillar 1 is scenery, the foundation your whole story depends on. Now, you could upload the scenery image into Nano Banana Pro as a reference, and this works really well, but here's the catch. if that image has a golden hour sunset look, that exact vibe will get copied into every new shot. That's why it's better to build your own consistent world using anchor keywords. Keywords with a fixed identity. There are many anchor keywords you can use. Let's start with the first one, style. And for that I used military sci-fi. And for the location I used white underground tunnel. And with that prompt I got these two images. The next anchor keyword you can use is mood. And for that I used in a gloomy cinematic atmosphere. And that gave me these two images. Now let's add another anchor keyword, lighting. For this one I used in bicolor global illumination, environment saturated in dark orange and cerulean. And that gave me these two images. Now there are also realism anchor keywords you can use, and I'll show you those in a second. But first look what happens when I remove the military anchor keyword. The entire scene shifts, but the cinematic style and overall look stays the same. And you'll see how these small changes give you full control over your scenery creation. And for realism you can use camera and lenses, and I used shot on an Arri Alexa 65 f1.2 35mm wide angle lens. And that gave me these two images. Now, if you want a clean shot of your scenery to use it as an image reference, you can use negative keywords. So I used no people, vehicles, text, watermark, camera info and date stamp. And then you get images like this, and they feel like they belong together. Now let's combine our anchor prompt with the second consistency pillar. And that's how you keep your character and outfit consistent. You can do this with one simple character sheet. And there's a full tutorial showing how it works with a single prompt on my YouTube channel. So now we'll use this as the input image. You can see the anchor prompt highlighted in green, and for the subject prompt I added wide shot of the man who is in a low ready breathe stance holding a compact matte black railgun with a glowing holographic sight. Now back on the image tab in Higgsfield AI with the Nano Banana Pro model selected, I uploaded my character sheet input image in here and I added my prompt in here. This time I will select 4K and I will hit generate. And that gave me this image. As you can see, because of the anchor keywords, you can create images that feel like they belong together. And now we can take the same character and place them in any location while still building a clear cinematic story. And in the 6th skill, I will dive deeper into this. Now, one last tip for the anchor keyword technique. If you want to have more grain in your shot, you could use a film stock like Fuji Xperia 100 film. And if you want to change your look a bit, you could change, for example, gloomy or cinematic, or remove the word dark, and your scenery will change slightly. Now, if you want a consistent look way faster and push the anchor keyword technique even further, then the next skill is the shortcut. Skill 4 is using cinematic consistency presets. Instead of prompting forever, you use simple sliders to lock in a Hollywood style look. It saves time, saves credits and keeps everything consistent. We'll break this down into 2 steps. First, we lock in a consistent look with the sliders. Then we combine it with the anchor keywords to create the ultimate cinematic look. Inside Higgsfield's Cinema Studio, we start in the Image tab. It works just like Nano Banana Pro. You upload an image and build from there. The big difference is that here you can choose camera and lens settings. By mixing these, you can quickly create many different cinematic looks without heavy prompting. And one of my favorite combos is the Sony Venice camera body with the Arri Signature Prime lens with a focal length of 35mm with a f1.4 aperture. And then I used a very simple prompt, this man as a Jedi in a Star Wars movie scene. And that gave me this cinematic looking image. And with the same camera settings, I created some more images. And they all have the same cinematic look. It all feels connected. Now let's move over to the video tab by clicking on the animate button over here. Now I will add my prompt in here. And here I can click on the movements button. And there's a lot of magic here, because you can choose different camera settings. And I will choose the orbit around one. I will set the duration to 5 seconds. I will leave the audio on because I want the Jedi to say something, and then hit generate. And then we got this amazing video.
This battle is over now.
Now let's combine the anchor keywords from the last skill with Cinema Studio to get the ultimate cinematic look. And in the image tab you can see I've uploaded my character sheet again and I added my prompt in here. And then I found that these camera settings added the final cinematic touch to my anchor keyword look. And this is the result. The change is subtle, but everything feels sharper, cleaner and more cinematic. Now, even with a perfect film look and consistency, your videos can still feel like they don't have your fingerprint yet. The next skill fixes that. The fifth skill is creating your unique signature look. And this matters because if you keep copying famous films for inspiration, you'll end up with the same overused look, and you can even run into copyright issues. Star Wars is the perfect example. If you prompt Star Wars, you'll get the obvious risky results everyone else is already making. But here's the solution. Every film style is built on a genre foundation. And once you know that, you can create something that feels familiar but looks original. So let me show you the 3 steps to build your own unique look. Step 1. The visual foundation prompt. Let's say you want a Star Wars Stormtrooper style character. Then in step 1 we ask what is the core foundation of Star Wars. Then in step 2 we ask 3 to 5 copyright safe alternative names for Stormtrooper, and in step 3 we ask for a clear visual description from the outfit. So then I copied the whole prompt into Gemini and got the following answers. The foundation for Star Wars is space opera, and here we got some different character namings, and I'm going to use void card. So with that I made the following prompt. Full body shot of a space opera sci-fi void card on a grey solid background. Here I added some camera info and some negative prompts, and then I set the aspect ratio to 2:3. And that gives us these kind of images. And they already look like a Stormtrooper, but different. Now, if you want your character to look more like a Stormtrooper, you can use information from step 3 from the outfit description. So that's why I've added wearing a glossy white composite armor. And that gives us these kind of results. Then I used even more information from the outfit description, and I added with an integrated respirator model. And that gives you results like this. A Stormtrooper based character with its own signature look. And by adding more or less details from step 3, you decide how close or how far it stays from the original base. You can use the foundation prompt for characters, vehicles and locations. Now that you know how to create your own style, now it's time to direct your shots like a film. The 6th skill is cinematic storytelling, and this is important because it's the difference between a nice AI clip and a shot that feels like a real film. There are 3 elements that matter. Let's start with the first one, choosing your location. And this is where the story starts. The place you choose already sets the tension, the stakes and the mood. A crater base with landing pads feels like a high value target. Something important is about to happen here. This outpost room feels empty and isolated, like the calm before the next fight. A wide desert feels exposed, wide open and nowhere to hide. A spaceship hangar feels massive and dangerous, but there's loads of hiding spots. With element 2 we plan the camera angle, and with element 3 we add the movement, and together that's what brings the story to life. An off-center shot instantly feels unstable, and when we slowly pan sideways it creates anticipation, like you're searching for the threat. A close-up strips away context and forces the viewer to focus on emotion, and a slow push-in pulls us deeper into the character's head and raises the suspense. A high angle makes him feel small and watched, like the world is bigger than him. And by zooming out, we amplify isolation, like he's alone in a huge battlefield with danger everywhere. An extreme low-angle shot makes him look powerful and dominant, like he's taking control. And a fast zoom into his face feels like you're being pulled into the moment with him. And the ground level angle makes it feel like you're right there with him, moving through danger. And the tracking shot builds suspense and tension, making it very personal. If you want more cinematic video skills, make sure to watch this video. And a big thanks to Higgsfield AI for sponsoring this video. The link is in the description.